Are there really 1,000 people moving to Florida? And is this anything new? This is actually a trend that has gone on for quite some time, and there's several reasons why people move to Florida. We're going to be breaking that down today. So let's go straight over here to the board, and let's get right into why Florida is booming, why Florida is growing, why Florida is expanding, why Florida is on a track to continue to grow. So the biggest thing, the most obvious thing, 1,218 people. And some years it's more than that, some years it's less than that, some days in particular. That's a lot of people. Every single day. This equates to hundreds of thousands of people moving to Florida per year. Florida just surpassed a population of 23 million. And so here's why this is opportunities for real estate professionals, is because not only do you have a constant influx of people moving here, and historically there have always been people moving to Florida for a variety of reasons we're going to get further into here, but the reality is now that there's over 23 million people that have accumulated here in Florida, plus a lot more that visit for various different tourism reasons. And a lot of them are choosing to stay, or choosing to pick up and leave wherever they came from and move to Florida. They could be moving to Florida for retirement. That has been a trend that has gone on since before I was even born. So they might be moving here for retirement. They could be moving here to find a better place to raise their family. There's a lot of activities available for, there's so many people that vacation here in Florida, that come here for tourism. And it's usually people with kids, because there's a lot of kid-friendly activities, from the theme parks to the actual just regular parks to the great outdoors that are pretty great year-round. It gets a little hot and rainy in the summer, don't get me wrong, but if it weren't so rainy, it'd be a lot hotter, so the rain does help cool us down a little bit in the summer. And, there's just so many opportunities beyond just the outdoors. We've got the most coastline out of any of the 48 states. I think Alaska actually might have us beat for overall coastline. But aside from Alaska, which, most of that is going to be frozen, none of this is ever frozen here. You're never going to find any ice chunks on these beaches here. And you can see there's a lot of them. There are a lot of them. So where we're broadcasting from today, right here in Tampa. We're actually right up here about in New Tampa, somewhere in that general-ish vicinity. So this is the Tampa Bay area. If you're brand new, if you're just tuning in and you're trying to figure out what is all these different cities, we've got some comments before on our YouTube channel, where is this, where is that? And so Tampa and all of its little suburbs usually fall within the Tampa Bay area here. You've got Tampa, which is pretty much this part. You've got St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Palm Harbor. Let's see, Lakeland is another one in the Tampa Bay area. That's in this area here. If you ever hear about Brandon, Fishhawk, Riverview, Apollo Beach, things like that, we've got Carrollwood, Wesley Chapel, Dade City, Newport Richey, all kinds of little areas you'll see around here. There's Sarasota, Siesta Key. We're talking about the beaches, Clearwater Beach, St. Pete Beach, Treasure Island, Indian Rocks. There's all these great little neighborhoods. And in this Tampa Bay area, and I don't think the statistic actually includes Lakeland, it might include Sarasota, but overall there's about 3 million people. And these 3 million people here are within maybe about an hour drive, depending on where it is that you're coming from. If you're coming from Lakeland to come to the career fair, which is hosted out here in Palm Harbor, that's going to be maybe about an hour and a half or so, maybe 2 hours, depending if you hit any traffic, but it's a Saturday, so usually not. But the thing where there might be traffic here is this is I-4. And so I-4, that connects here, Tampa. You got Lakeland right there about halfway between Tampa and then Orlando. And so this whole kind of like beltway here almost, this I-4 beltway between the Tampa Bay area and the Orlando market, this is actually the biggest market here in Florida. Now, right up there with it is the Miami-Fort Lauderdale, and you include enough of this here, we're really pretty close here, and there might even be more people, you include more areas, it depends how wide you cut this here, but the Southeastern area, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about probably the capital of the Southeastern area, which is Miami. Not necessarily the capital of Florida, the capital of some other places, some people may have said, but with Miami down here, and let's label some of these out, so we got, let's actually write it where you could read it too, we got Miami, and we got Tampa up here. We got Orlando, Tampa Bay, St. Pete, all that other stuff. Fun fact, the Rays, they're actually going to be playing in Tampa this year, but they've always been based out of the St. Pete. So why they don't call themselves the St. Petersburg Rays? You know, it's why they call themselves the Tampa Bay Rays, because here's the bay, that water that's in between all these little towns, cities, so on and so forth here. But back to Miami. So, you know, if you're coming to Florida and you're trying to figure out where it is that you want to go, what's going to make the most sense for you? Do you want to come to Tampa, where we're broadcasting from today? And we'll talk more about Tampa in a moment. But what would make you choose, say, Miami or Orlando over the Tampa Bay area? So Miami, this is going to be, if you're looking for like the most luxurious, and when I mean the most luxurious, I mean imagine a building designed by Porsche, designed by Lamborghini, by Ferrari, by Aston Martin, by Bentley. They're all putting buildings up in Miami. And you mean, what do you mean that they're building a building? Is this a building shaped like a car? Not really. Maybe sometimes there's a car included. Maybe it's just themed after the car and you got to buy the car separately. Maybe there's a car elevator that you could drive your Porsche or whatever it might be into, and it takes you right up to the condo unit there. So if you're looking for the glitz, the glam, these big high-rise towers, Miami South Beach, nightclubs that just open 24/7, let's call it. They probably close during the daylight hours, but you want to go and party until sunset, Miami is probably the best place that you're going to be able to do that. Not saying that there wouldn't be other places in Florida where you could find that, but that's going to be a much more common thing down here. Why? I don't know. It's almost a different world in Miami. And there's almost this kind of division of the South Florida to the Central Florida to the North Florida, just in terms of the, you know, lifestyle that people are looking for in these different areas. Again, the glitz, the glam, the luxury, the most money, the biggest yachts, some of the richest billionaires in the world. Miami is going to be your place. If you're looking for something that is experiencing massive growth, where you could get that level of luxury, that we don't yet have any buildings that are designed by car makers here in Tampa, but we do have the Ritz-Carlton, we do have JW Marriott, we have all these multiple 5-star, Michelin star restaurants, hotels, etc. So you could find a lot of that luxury, but also at the same time with much more of the suburbanness that you're going to find in this whole kind of area here, because when you get outside of Tampa, there's a lot of suburbs. Right now, we're actually broadcasting, we're actually in the city limits of Tampa, but it's very disconnected from downtown Tampa. We're up here, up in New Tampa, which is very close actually to Wesley Chapel. Wesley Chapel, it's a huge outlet mall. That place has exploded, the whole Wesley Chapel area, over the last like 20 years. And all of these, because we have I-75 that runs north, something like that. And all along these major roadways, these major interstates here, is where you see lots of development popping up. And that's what's going to be 10, 20, 30 years down the road, because this is where you got these massive lagoons. If you've seen anything about these lagoons where you could ride like jet skis in them or paddle boards or all kinds of crazy stuff, it looks like an ocean, but it's actually just a giant man-made pool. They've got the lagoons. They've got all kinds of crazy stuff. There's so many neat projects, and they're not even happening in the urban core, because there's not room for this stuff in the urban core. But when you get out to these more rural areas, these are what are being developed into these more suburban type of communities that, thanks to I-75 and I-4, you're never too far from the actual city of Tampa, city of Orlando, city of Lakeland, and all the other places in between. Pinellas County is a little bit more difficult to get around. South Pinellas, you got 275 that loops in around here. I feel like we're just talking about the map now. But as a real estate professional, it's really important to understand the neighborhood. It's very important to understand what drives the growth, what drives the people wanting to move to a certain area, because when you understand your audience, when you understand your consumers, when you understand your clients, the best term really to use for them as a real estate professional, and what they want, they desire, they might not have time to sit here and watch a YouTube video all about, how the interstates shape the development that we see here in Florida. But those interstates really do. You got 75 that goes all around here. We got 95 shooting up the other coast here. And this is, if you look at it and you want to see the map of the growth here, you'll see it all along this here. We go out here, you keep going along I-4, you'll hit out here to Daytona Beach. We'll put that on there. Not really a big area, but, almost something that has, for very long, people, it been in pop culture, I should say. Up here we got Jacksonville, St. Augustine, oldest town, city, whatever they call it, in America. Pretty neat there. We got Tallahassee up here. Not really much going on up there except for the governor and FSU. We got Panama City way out here. And so when we talk about the Panhandle versus Central Florida versus Southern Florida and even West Coast of Florida and the East Coast of Florida, there's, again, all different lifestyles available in terms of what you want to be close to, what you want to be near, what type of opportunities. If you want to be near the theme parks, if you love Mickey Mouse and Disney World, or maybe you got kids that love that stuff, or Harry Potter, or the movies, or, there's all these neat little theme parks. There's SeaWorld, there's Busch Gardens here in Tampa, Adventure Island, that's all easily accessible right there with I-4. So a lot of stuff to be able to see and do. There's Legoland out there somewhere. There's the new Epic Universe that they're building. So all kinds of neat activities that people literally travel from all over the world. Orlando Airport is one of our busiest airports here in Florida. Orlando, Miami, and also Tampa. Miami gets a lot of international traffic, especially if you're going to somewhere in South America, the Caribbean, or even otherwise, just because it's such a major airport. A lot of times it's a connecting hub for many people because it is one of the southernmost major airports in the United States. Tampa Airport, we just got a multi-billion-dollar expansion that is beginning to put a whole new airside, and it's going to be super advanced, super high-tech, and Tampa Airport is already renowned worldwide at being one of the most efficient, easiest to navigate, easiest to get in and out of airports in the entire world, and I could really attest to that. You really take it for granted until you go through some of these other major airports in the world, and you realize how difficult it can be to navigate the different parts of the airport, to get in and out of the airport, and so on. So Tampa Airport is very amazing. Orlando Airport, there's also one in Sarasota. Lots of airports, lots of places where you could find even direct flights all over the world. There's flights that go from Tampa all the way over to Switzerland. There's so much that you could access being here, because so many people travel from all over the world to visit for tourism. Whether it's the beaches, it could be the theme parks, it could be a business meeting. We have several military bases as well as a large military and military contracting community here in the state of Florida. So there's a lot of international business that happens even beyond military, just in the private sector as well. There's a lot of technology. Miami has made a ton of pushes recently in terms of embracing cryptocurrency. Orlando, this whole beltway here, it's known for its tourism just because of these theme parks here, but there's a lot of technology, not that just drives the tourism industry, but that also drives, for lack of a better term, something to maybe give you little creepers, is data analysis and analyzing the people that go in and out of that. So there's actually a huge data center that was just being built along I-4 here, I think somewhere close to Orlando. You got Cape Canaveral here, so you want to watch the spaceships blast off into outer space, you could do that over there. Again, beaches abound. If you like the sand and you like the water, you like the ocean, that might be what's driving you here. Because even if you're like way over here in Orlando, you're not more than a 2-hour drive from a beach. And maybe even shorter than that, especially as you're closer to the coast. So whatever type of Florida it is that you're after, you could find. If you are looking for more of that rural Florida, and this is probably where you'll find more of the Florida natives, the few of them that are out there, because there are so many people that move to Florida every day, it becomes harder to find people born in Florida. But for those people really looking for that Florida lifestyle, that true, authentic, maybe not so glitzy and glamoury, maybe a little bit more old school type of Florida lifestyle, that's going to be more found up in the Panhandle, out near Ocala. Let's talk about Ocala for a second here. Ocala is actually world renowned for its horse country. So that's another type of real estate you could practice, is agricultural real estate. If you know a lot about horses, if you know what would make a good horse ranch, if you know what should be had, if you understand things as it relates to the soil, to drainage, to just different factors that I can't even fathom because I don't specialize in agricultural real estate, let alone horse ranches, but that's where there can be niches that aren't just selling big high-rise luxury towers, because you could do that here in Miami, Tampa, Orlando, any of the big cities in Florida, Jacksonville. Even Jacksonville is actually a great affordable option. If you want to kind of get into Florida without too much Florida, that is a great way to do it there. But that all changes. That used to be Lakeland. And Lakeland is still a really good value compared to the markets right next to it there, Tampa and Orlando. That's where you start to see price points go up. But what benefit you provide is being a qualified local professional who could understand, even if you're someone like me who's based in Tampa, if you've been here a while, you might know more and more about Florida and know more and more about all the different areas that could exist out there. And if you just practice real estate here in Tampa, there's nothing that's going to stop you from being able to refer that business to another agent in another part of the state, or another agent in another state, or another agent in another country altogether. You could refer business worldwide with a real estate license. So whether you're ultimately trying to do Florida real estate, or you just want to get started to earn referrals or whatever it may be, what I would ultimately recommend to you to get started is what's called our Complete Jumpstart Bundle. This will include your pre-licensing. You could do this either on demand or live. We either have live in person as well as live online classes. Now, the pre-licensing is what is required to get your real estate license. There is a state exam, and to help expedite the state exam, that's where the Pass First Try exam prep tools come in. These are optional on-demand tools. However, whatever format you do, I highly recommend them, so that way you don't get caught up having to retake the exam, having to worry about what to study for the exam, or anything to where the exam becomes something hindering your ability to succeed in real estate. That's where those Pass First Try exam prep tools in. That no longer becomes a question because you know what to study, how to study. It takes the guesswork out of it completely. And so not only is that included in the Complete Jumpstart Bundle, but the real Jumpstarter is the post-licensing. And again, you can do this on demand, or we have live in person as well as live online classes. Our Complete Jumpstart Bundle is going to include all of this here, so that way you have not only the course to get your license, but the courses that you need to study so you could pass the exam, get that done right away, and then move right into taking your post-licensing, which is not only a requirement, but it dives much more into the business practices of building a real estate business versus this up here is going to focus a lot on laws and rules, and that's what you're also studying because that's what's tested on your state exam. Once you get licensed, now the fun can begin by learning those topics in post-licensing that, again, are going to be more about running a profitable, successful real estate business. So our Complete Jumpstart Bundle, yes, you could just get started just enrolling for pre-licensing to split this up and break this up, but your biggest savings are going to be bundling this together. And not only are you saving money, it's going to help you save time, because you'll have right from day one the exam prep tools that you need to be able to expedite your studying. Right from day one of having your license, you could get started with your post-licensing. This is the only thing you don't get right away, because you can't start it until you get your license for it to count for credit. So as soon as you get your license, you let us know, and there's no extra payment. You're already pre-registered with the Complete Jumpstart Bundle. We simply get you enrolled in the course and send you a copy of the latest textbook to go along with either, again, your on-demand or your registration for the upcoming live online or live in-person class. So that's the Complete Jumpstart Bundle. If you have any questions about what you need specifically to start your real estate career or take that next step in your real estate career, call us up, 813-333-2676. Again, that's 813-333-2676. Like I said earlier, we now have over 4,000 reviews huge accomplishment. Thank you to everyone that has been involved in helping us get over those 4,000 reviews, all of our instructors, all of our staff, everyone who helps make the Tampa School of Real Estate who it is. And finally, last thing I'll leave you with for today is the Florida Real Estate Career Fair. That is coming up fast. It is January 4th. You might be watching the replay of this here because it's just such a good video about Florida and getting started in this here, and it might be way past this. So head over to the website if this date is already passed to see the latest next real estate career fair that we have coming up. But if you're watching this before this, are you lucky? Because we have an amazing event planned for you Saturday, January 4th. Registration is free, but we have a limited amount of free registration, so make sure you get registered right now. Get enrolled. There's only 7 days right now at the time of this video here until this event happens. It's happening January 4th, which is next Saturday. It's only 12 to 2 p.m., so you want to make time for this. You want to be there. There's going to be some great vendors, so get yourself registered. Name, email, and phone number at FloridaRealEstateCareerFair.com. That's about all the time that we've got for today's episode of State of Real Estate. So thank you for tuning in. We will be back. We will be back next week on Wednesday for Ask the Instructor, as well as Friday for State of Real Estate. So make sure you tune in live. The best thing to do is go to TampaSchoolRealEstate.com and get yourself subscribed. Until then, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you right before the new year in 2025. Right around the corner coming up. I want to see you at that career fair January 4th. Get yourself registered. Until then, have a fantastic weekend. Have a happy new year, and we'll see you next time.
The most powerful tool to study for your real estate exam is the Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate. We've used our years of experience in preparing students for the Florida Real Estate exam to bring you the most powerful exam study tool available. In the Question Simulator, you'll be able to go directly to a particular unit so you can focus on the sections where you need the most practice. We have also included the percentages of each unit so you know which units are the most important for your real estate exam. Every question will immediately give you detailed feedback, which is almost always more important than the question or the answer themselves. After completing all the questions in a particular unit, you can go through question by question and review any that you've gotten wrong. You could also print out a report at the end of each quiz. The Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate is 100% mobile compatible, so you can practice with test questions anywhere you have your phone with you. Enroll now at questionsimulator.com and get ready to pass your exam.